All right, so I'm just gonna show real quick, how I usually arrange my beats. When I just, just a quick arrangement. So, you know, when I actually finish a beat, of course, you may spend a little more, um, you know, you may emphasize certain things a little bit more, put some, risers and crashes and sound effects and fades and stuff like that. But just to get a quick beat going, this is how I arrange. And I notice a lot of people that I work with that are not so who don't have a lot of experience. They just find it really hard to arrange. And I think the easy way is to just do a simple arrange first, like kind of like a skeleton, and then you start adding all the little extra stuff. So we're just gonna split. If you just have one pattern, you just split it by channel, and it's gonna start looking, it's gonna look like this. So I'm just gonna click Shift to highlight all of them and put them in here. And then we got to put it on song mode. All right, so I usually press Command B on a Mac just to, make it look like this. And for the intro, I usually like to have like the main chords playing maybe, or just like one melody element or something like that. So let me see what's going on here. Let me put all the instruments up here to begin. So that looks like it's probably an instrument. I haven't touched this beat in like 2 years, so I don't really know what's what. I think I don't even use a lot of this stuff, but let's see if we just. All right, so I usually make a decision like, okay, do I want to come straight into the verse for the, after the intro, or do I want to start with a chorus or perhaps a half a chorus just to kind of give the listener a little bit, you know, uh, kind of like a little hint of what's gonna happen. And especially when I play beats for artists and stuff like that, I like to put the hook right in the beginning, like after the little intro. Don't make a long ass intro unless your intro is like crazy fire and cinematic. So just a simple intro. Maybe this is even too long. Let's just scratch that and just go straight into it. Yeah. Um, all right, so for this beat, I guess that bell sample is probably what I was thinking was supposed to be the hook. So that's usually what I start with. I usually decide like what's on the hook. So I guess the normal thing for the hook is to have like the catchiest part, or have the most sounds, or the fullest, the loudest. So that's what I'm gonna go with here. You could also do it reverse, where you kind of break it down and take away a lot of elements for the hook. But this is pretty much my standard thing of doing it. And then also you got to make up your mind, like how long is your verse gonna be? Like for hip hop, like rap, boom bap beats, music pretty much between, I would say like between like 80 BPM to 100 or something like that. Like I usually go with 16 bar verses unless it's like a pop song or something like that. Then I usually do 8 bar verse and then maybe like a little 4 or 8 bar pre-chorus, like a pre-hook going into the hook. But that this is more simple. So we're gonna do it like this. I'm gonna double that because I'm just gonna give him half a verse in the beginning and then the full one here. And then now we can pretty much just copy this for the second verse. And just to be real lazy, I usually put the intro as the outro. Well, and you can just fade that out or stop it depending on what it sounds like. So now when I'm at this point right now, we got we can kind of see what's going on in the song too. I guess it's kind of important to know what your different elements are in the beat, which I don't really know with this one because it's an old beat that I just pulled up. But I see that I got the 808 down here, so I like to keep that up with my more like instrument stuff, and then I keep the drums and percussion and everything, together at the bottom. It's just easier that way than have everything just mixed up. All right, let's see how long this is to begin. The verse right here. We gotta make the hook a little bit longer right here. All right. So, I mean, to me, I'm listening to the beat and kind of feels what it needs to. And for me, my ears, like my style, I don't want to do too many drops and shit to this beat because it just feels like it should just kind of flow. Like normally with certain types of beats, I do a lot of small drops and stuff, especially on the hi hats. So one thing you can do, like at the end of each different section or the beginning of every section. So when I say section, I mean like the chorus, the verse, you can kind of look at either the second half of the verse as a pre-chorus, or I made like a 4 bar pre-chorus here where I just basically slowed it down a little bit by um, taking out the hi-hat. So what you want to do is, after the hook, you kind of, have a little bit less energy on the verse, and then you slowly build it up with adding more sounds, and then before the next hook, you kind of want to like break it down again. And there's different ways of doing it, but for this beat, I just feel like it works with just something really simple. Oh yeah, so with the little hi-hat thing, like I usually just drop it a little bit and let it come in like right where the snare hits again. So I think this, or actually the clap in this case. So we see right here the clap comes in. If we put the hi-hat under that, we can see the hi-hat comes in. And then sometimes I just make a little drop here too. So now I did that in the wrong place. So yeah, at the end of the, and I feel like this little hi-hat right here, the open hi-hat came in. It sounded a little awkward with that since we dropped the other one. And you know, just kind of like a little, I make drops like this kind of just like a placeholder when I first make my beats, so I kind of know where I want to make these little drops and stuff. They don't have to be perfect, they just gotta be pretty much the same as if you only had the song already bounced up to an MP3 and you just cut out little pieces like where you want to make the drop. So let's see how that sounds. So I'm gonna let the piano play all the way, I guess. Okay, so I just heard a little drop right here. I'm gonna make it a little bit longer than I did in the beginning. So let's see. I wanted it slightly earlier. I think maybe it was that one actually. Anyway, it's not that important. Like I said, the point is for you to just get a, you know, a basic idea down, and then in all these little spots or whatever, all these transitions, you can make some change up in the drums, maybe like a little snare roll, stuff like that. Another thing you can do for the verses to simplify it is basically it's trial and error. And once you've done it many times, you kind of gonna, you know, you're gonna develop your style of arranging and what you like. And there's like a million different ways of doing it, but this is my like just go-to way of doing things. Back in the day, I used to make the songs a little bit longer, but now it seems like, especially hip hop and trap music, it's just becomes shorter. So it's like a song used to be like between 3 and 5 minutes, 4.5 maybe, but now I feel like it's more like two, 2 to 3 minutes, you know, 2.5 maybe. So I usually just do two verses, you know. But back before, like if you want to do a more advanced arrangement, you can put something called a bridge here after this hook, and then you can go straight into another hook again, and then the outro after that. So yeah, what you can do for the verse too, you already see that I took out this snare. I took this out already, and the open hi-hat that I have, I could probably, you know, take away a few more things. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to change simplify the kick and bass pattern a little bit. So I'm gonna go to and make this unique, and then I like to give it a different color, so I know that I made a change right here. So I'll do the same thing on the kick, because you know the kick and the bass, they kind of go together. So it may sound weird if I change the 808 and not the kick, or the other way around. So let's take away this for now. Yeah, that's enough. Just simplify it a little bit, and then you can kind of listen and see like how far you want to have it more simple, because it could get boring too. Like I said, this beat, I feel like it shouldn't really have too much stuff going on. I may have done too much stuff to it already, but I'm just doing it to show you guys. So now I want the kick to kind of work with that 808 pattern. So let's see. Okay, let's try it. Let's see now how. So I usually go back like a little bit into the hook, so I can feel the transition of everything. Nah, I probably want it for one a little bit longer. It may seem a little boring now, but you don't want your beats to be too busy, especially when you got a when you got vocals on it, like rap or singing. You don't want to have it too busy until you know what the melody is gonna be like. And then you can add more stuff later. Yeah, so I like that. So I noticed that it's getting pretty long, this tutorial. So I'm just gonna keep, copy that first verse again. And in this case, like I said, this beat, I just feel like it shouldn't be too complicated. But sometimes when I feel it should have a little bit more like change ups and stuff like that, I may just make a few change ups on the second verse, so it's like just a little bit different. So let's just drop the hi-hat there, and maybe even take it away for the first uh, let's just take it away for the first 4 bars and see how that sounds. yeah, so if you feel like it's too much without the hi-hat, like what I do sometimes is I add like the hi-hat for a little bit, and then you know it depends on if you have more different elements coming in for the pre-hook, the pre-chorus. Let's see how this sounds. If not, I'm just gonna keep it the way it was. So let's listen to this again. Like I want to hear the whole, like how it flows. So I'm starting from the end of this chorus. Right, cool. Um, I'm not really that. I don't really enjoy video editing, so this is gonna be a pretty long video because I'm just gonna leave it as is probably, unless I said some really stupid stuff. Um, so yeah, what I want to do now is just come to um, the master track, and we can right click on the fader right here, create automation clip, and then we can just do a little fade here. I hate how this always happens. Let me copy this value and put it back here because I always change the volume for some reason. So we're gonna paste that in there. Paste that in there. We can bring this down, and I think you can hold shift actually and it doesn't move. Yeah, so I actually like to start fading my stuff like a little bit before, so it's not like um, exactly at the transition between the hook and the outro. Let's check. Let's add the clap too. Yeah, as you could hear, the 808 sounded pretty bad right there. Like one little trick that I do when I'm lazy is I just copy the 808, make it unique. I guess this is like a real lazy way of doing it. I guess you should automate it, but I've been doing it like this for a very long time. So I just make that unique, and I just make sure one note is still hitting, but I'm turning it down all the way so you can't really hear it. And then I just delete that, and it's gonna. All right, so let me just play the whole beat too. If there's anybody out there who sat through all these 25 minutes, let's play the beat. All right. So yeah, so this is how I do it. Just a quick arrange. Usually I don't spend as much time. Usually I get this done in like 10, 15 minutes. I guess, talking takes time too. Sometimes it takes longer, but so when I got this, I just, if needed, if I feel it's needed, like maybe for this little, pre-chorus part or whatever you want to call it, the last four bars of the verse, I may add like some little pad or a change up in one of the instruments or something like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Then maybe some sound effects, some sweeps, some transition effects, and that's it. I think it's better. I guess the goal is just to make it interesting enough for an artist to get some ideas to write to it, without overcomplicating it. If you feel like something's missing after he, you know, did his thing, that's better because then you can find the pockets and put your sounds in there so it's not too busy and crazy. All right, cool. Thanks for watching the video, and please subscribe and like and comment. Who do you hear on this beat? Like, let me know in the comments, and see you in the next video.